Genesis chapter 6, verse 4. In that verse it says, "The Nephilim were on the earth in those days, and also afterward, when the sons of God went to the daughters of humans and had children by them. They were the heroes of old, men of renown." This verse suggests that the Nephilim existed after the union between the sons of God and the daughters of humans. It describes them as mighty individuals, known as heroes of old and men of renown. This passage is often cited as evidence of the Nephilim's existence and their extraordinary nature. The mention of the Nephilim in this verse has sparked curiosity and debate among scholars and readers, leading to various interpretations and theories about their origin and nature. It's an intriguing aspect of biblical history that continues to captivate people's interest. So who are Nephilims? Well, the Nephilim are mentioned in the book of Genesis in the Bible. Some interpretations suggest that the sons of God were fallen angels or divine beings who mated with human women, resulting in the birth of the Nephilim. The word Nephilim itself means fallen ones or giants in Hebrew. They are described as mighty warriors and renowned for their great size and strength. These biblical giants were said to have roamed the earth before the Great Flood. Some believe that they were a symbol of the corruption and wickedness that led to the flood, while others see them as a literal race of giants. It's important to note that the topic of the Nephilim is open to interpretation, and different religious and cultural traditions may have varying beliefs and stories about them. The Bible stands far more reliable than each of the other books because the writers are often the participants or the witnesses. Their lineage is described as a unique combination of divine and human ancestry. They had extraordinary powers, and they were considered mighty warriors, renowned for their physical abilities and achievements. Their presence on the earth during those times had a significant influence on the course of history and the development of civilizations. When it comes to the impact of the Nephilim, there are various interpretations and theories. According to biblical accounts, their presence on the earth had significant consequences. Some believe that their existence contributed to a corruption of humanity, leading to moral decay and wickedness. Their mighty stature and abilities may have instilled fear and awe in others, shaping legends and myths throughout different cultures. In some interpretations, the Nephilim are seen as a catalyst for divine intervention, prompting the Great Flood as a means to cleanse the world of their influence. This event, known as Noah's Flood, is believed to have reshaped the course of human history. The stories and legends surrounding the Nephilim have captivated the imaginations of many inspiring works of literature, art, and film. Their impact on the world, both in ancient times and in the realm of mythology and storytelling, continues to fascinate and intrigue people to this day. Let's head to the book of Genesis chapter 4, verses 25 and 26. Adam made love to his wife again, and she gave birth to a son and named him Seth, saying, "God has granted me another child in place of Abel since Cain killed him." Verse 26, Seth also had a son, and he named him Enoch. At that time, people began to call on the name of the Lord. There is an argument that because people began to return to God after the birth of Seth, Satan devised a means by which he could corrupt the entire human race. And this he decided to achieve through the marriage of fallen angels with the daughters of men. Should we say he succeeded? Because the Nephilims did badly on earth, following in the footsteps of their father and teaching mere humans the way of sins, just until when God ministered to Noah and the flood happened. But is it true that Nephilims have descendants? Let us check the Bible. Nephilims were mentioned in the books of Genesis, Numbers, and Ezekiel. They were mentioned in Numbers chapter 13, verses 32 to 33. So they brought to the Israelites an unfavorable report of the land that they had spied out, saying, "The land that we have gone through as spies is a land that devours its inhabitants, and all the people that we saw in it are of great size. There we saw the Nephilim, the Anakites come from the Nephilim, and to ourselves we seemed like grasshoppers, and so we seemed to them." So a quick question. How did Israelites come in contact with these giants? We should remember the Israelites have been on a journey of 40 years just to get the promised land. Moses sent 12 spies to explore the land of Canaan before the Israelites were to enter and take possession of it. This mission was intended to gather information about the land, its inhabitants, and its resources. The idea was to assess the challenges and opportunities that lay ahead. But the spies returned and talked about how they saw giants. Remember, this report brought by these 12 spies caused Israelites to roam about in the wilderness longer until Joshua took the mantle of leading them. Some scholars have argued that the fallen mighty men in Ezekiel 32, verse 27, is an indirect reference to Nephilim, as the phrase in Hebrew is somewhat ambiguous. And they do not lie with the fallen warriors of long ago who went down to Sheol with their weapons of war, whose swords were laid under their heads, and whose shields are upon their bones. For the terror of the warriors was in the land of the living. Ezekiel chapter 32, verse 27. The obvious gigantism of the Nephilim is argued to stem from their supernatural origin. A less supernatural view holds that the Nephilim were simply men who fell away from righteousness. Specifically, some theologians have held that sons of God is a reference to the descendants of Seth, the righteous son of Adam, and that the Nephilim were members of his bloodline who rejected God. Now, I have a lot of thoughts. If Nephilims were said to have brought much chaos to earth, why do they call them the sons of God in some places? Well, this answers the question, and God looked at everything he created, and it was good. Directly and indirectly, procreation got them to earth, and God's instruction was to procreate. However, all forms of knowledge started with the Nephilims, as they were taught things about astrology, knowledge of the sun and sky, the usage of plants, and so on. During my research, I learned that men began to perish, meaning that even before the Great Flood, there had been a whole lot of things that had happened to mankind, but were not enough, or were not meant to wipe them away from the surface of the earth, like the Great Flood. It is so difficult to believe that Nephilim's giants have always existed. Fossilized remains of giant human skeletons have been found all around the world, and most of these fossils have been recovered with giant weapons, strange artifacts, and armor. According to the book of Enoch, the people cried out to God, and after a lot of intercession to God, God decided to purge the world with a flood. Noah did as he was told. He built an ark and told them to enter because a great flood was approaching, and yet the same people who cried for help that led to intercession still did not answer him. Then doom came into man. Then the flood came and swept everyone away from the face of the earth. A lot of Bible verses mention giants. That is the presence of the descendants of Nephilims on earth. These Bible verses include Deuteronomy chapter 2, verse 10. The Emites used to live there, a people strong and numerous and as tall as the Anakites. Like the Anakites, they too were considered Rephites, but the Moabites called them Amites. Let's see Amos chapter 2, verse 9. Yet I destroyed the Amorites before them, though they were tall as the cedars and strong as the oaks. I destroyed their fruit above and their roots below. Also, Joshua chapter 11, verses 21 to 22. At that time, Joshua went and destroyed the Anakites from the hill country, from Hebron, Debir, and Anab, from all the hill country of Judah, and from all the hill country of Israel. Joshua totally destroyed them and their towns. 2 Samuel chapter 21, verses 20 to 22 mentions, in still another battle, which took place at Gath, there was a huge man with 6 fingers on each hand and 6 toes on each foot, 24 in all. He also was descended from Rapha. When he taunted Israel, Jonathan, son of Shemaiah, David's brother, killed him. And lastly, Deuteronomy chapter 3, verse 11. Only Og king of Bashan was left of the remnant of the Rephites. His bed was made of iron and was more than 13 feet long and 6 feet wide. It is still in Rabbah of the Ammonites. These are the descendants of the Nephilim, according to their location and activities in the Bible. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel to get amazing videos like this. God bless you.